Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with fabulous concert programs number 100. We've gotten there. Whoa, 100 programs that you will never hear at an actual concert, but that you could play in the privacy of your own listening room. And we're continuing our series of American Neo-Classicists. This is what, number 4 in that series, I think, yes. Yeah, number 4. We've got at least half a dozen of these. Maybe I'll do some more. We'll see. But, I love this program. This program is absolutely marvelous, I have to say, since I thought it up. But not because I thought it up, but because it's absolutely marvelous. 4 different composers, 4 absolutely incredible works. Yes, and I'm using the word absolutely too many times. So let's see if I can get through this without any more absolutisms. We begin with Morton Gould, the Latin American Symphonette, one of the great masterpieces of American music, and for all the right reasons. It's a perfect neoclassical miniature symphony. Each movement embodies a Latin American dance rhythm with Latin percussion. So it's a very new world piece. It could only have been written by an American composer, but it's formally perfect and it's exquisitely crafted. And the musical material is of the highest possible quality, and it gets no respect at all because it's light music, light, whatever that means, and it's short, and it's peppy, and it's amusing, and it makes you feel good, and it has all of the qualities that normal people would want in a piece of music, which is why the classical music world shits all over it. Right? I mean, it's diseased. But the Latin American Symphonette by Morton Gould is where we start. And Gould was a wonderful composer and wrote tons and tons of fantastic orchestral music. No one could figure out why Dimitri Mitropoulos championed him so frequently. But I know why. It's because good music is good music. Period. And Morton Gould wrote a lot of really good music. So there's that. And after the Latin American Symphonette, we're going to do the William Schuman Violin Concerto. Now, I have my issues with William Schuman as a composer. I think his symphonies start out okay, and then become, from about the Fifth Symphony on, dry as dust, for the most part. I mean, I'm generalizing, and I know that there are some of you out there who really stand by him and like him very, very much. Like Peter Menon, he was a director of Juilliard. He succeeded Menon, but I just find him so terribly predictable. But he wrote some very, very fine orchestral works. He really did, that were not symphonies. I often think, there's so many composers, and it's not just American composers, it's any composers who, sort of freeze up when they have to write symphonies. We know it from Brahms, right? The Tramp of the Giant, Behind Me, and Beethoven's 10th, and all of that folderol. So, composers often do better when they can write in free forms and just do what they want to do and don't feel that they have to be neoclassical, as Schumann certainly was. Schumann, not Schumann. Schumann was his name. And, here's one of those cases where the pronunciation kind of matters because some people might think you have the wrong one. I mean, I once had a conversation, and this is absolutely true. Absolutely true. I was playing Mahler's Sixth Symphony in New York, in a community orchestra, and I was talking to a double bass player who was at Juilliard, and he said something like Juilliard is so much fun, I love it, you should come there, you should do something there. I mean, at that point I was like in mid-career as a banker, and I was busy, and I said, oh, that would be fun, except I was also writing criticism. I said I'd be a little afraid to go there because I've said some fairly nasty things about William Schuman. And he said, oh, no, he's dead. I said, what do you mean he's dead? He said, well, he's been dead for like a long time. I said, no, he's not dead. And he looked at me and he said, well, didn't he have a wife too named Clara? And I said, no, you've got the wrong Schumann. You mean Schumann, not Schumann. And I realized that, Anyway, there were prerequisites to be at the Juilliard School, which did not involve things like, well, IQ, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, so that was that. But the Violin Concerto is a beautiful work. It really is. It's well written. It's interesting melodically. It's beautifully shaped. It makes a terrific, fascinating piece that people really ought to play much more often. It deserves to be performed. Of course it does. Is it gonna be? Of course it's not. So there you go. Then we have intermission, and after intermission, everybody comes back, and we have two fun-filled works to wrap up the program. One, Don Gillis. We have to do some Don Gillis, don't we? I mean, I try and promote him as much as I can because he's a first-class composer. Another one, yes, maybe his range was limited. I mean, he was self-consciously into, like, Americana, and his style was, Gershwin/pop music, but who cares? It's terrific stuff. And so, yes, we're going to do a tone poem by Don Gillis, The Alamo. And the Alamo is a serious thing, remember. It was when America, the United States of America, that part lost to Mexico, and a bunch of people were killed in Texas. And, so it's not a happy piece. It's a very serious piece with its ebullient moments, of course, because it's Don Gillis. But it's a great, great piece that ought to be heard. And it's, why don't American composers do, but American audiences want to hear our heritage celebrated the way it happens all over the place in Europe. I mean, how many tone poems are there about the Hussite Wars in Czechoslovakia or all these tragedies and happy things and whatnots that happen? There's the Peterloo Overture in England, and there's all this stuff about things that happened in your country. And composers write wonderful music about it, and it gets played, and audiences suck it up because it's part of their national heritage, and they enjoy it. And foreigners, like myself, suck it up because it's just great music. Well, we have fabulous stuff that people should be sucking up. And Gillis's The Alamo is one of those. So after that, we need to wrap things up with a rousing symphony, and why not do Creston, Symphony No. 2? Creston was another one of those composers who nobody ever listens to. His real name was like Crestoni, I think. He like Piston. It was Pistoni or something like that. They were all Italians. And so there's that Italianate lyricism. And this is particularly true in Creston because his music is so influenced by dance rhythm and song in these slower bits. It's lyrical and it's rhythmic, and that's what it is. And the Second Symphony is an absolute flat-out masterpiece in two incredibly concise but effective movements. It lasts a bit less than half an hour, I think. And I mean, I haven't looked at timings recently, but it's just wonderful music, and it will bring the house down as the finale to this wonderful program of American composers, American Neo-Classicists, who wrote in established forms, but with new content. It's new wine in old bottles. That's what it is. And there's nothing wrong with that because the bottles are beautiful and the wine is new. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.